Hi all, this is Emma from Plan, Inspire, Create, and today I'm going to start to talk you through how to implement the Getting Things Done method. In my last video, I started to talk you through what the Getting Things Done method is and how I've implemented it in my life and how it has benefited me. Getting Things Done is a system of tracking and organising all the things in your life to try and clear your mind and get rid of a lot of the mental energy that we use trying to hold on to information. I took you through the 5 different stages, which are capture, clarify, organise, reflect and engage. And today we're going to start to break down the first section, which is capture. So what is the capture stage of getting things done? In the capture stage, you want to gather 100% of the things in your life that are considered incomplete. All those things that you've made a commitment to in some way that need a change to happen to them to get them to where you want them to be. So this might be ideas, it might be things, it might be projects. It could be physical items, it could be the systems in your life that are just not where you want them to be. Some of them might be tiny little things like I just need to take the bin out, and other things might be huge, great projects or life goals that you want to work towards. And the idea is no matter how big or small to just get them out of your head and onto paper. So why is this important? So the main goal is to free your mind of that mental energy that it takes to try and hold on to information. We don't want it all rattling around in there. You want it out into a list or some sort of inbox system where you can then go back and review it. So for the time being, you don't need to worry about that information because you know it's in a place where you're going to come back and review it and decide what to do with it. So we don't need to even make any decisions in this stage. We don't need to actually do anything in this stage. You just need to be getting it all in one place. And then you can see what it is you've got to work with before you start making those decisions. So what needs to be captured? Now, David Allen, who's the author of Getting Things Done, put together a trigger list of kind of prompts that you can think about when you're trying to get all the information out of your head and your environment and into one place. And I've got it in my planner, and I'm going to come to my capture stage in a minute and I will show you that. Some of them aren't necessarily relevant and you might want to make your own personalised list so that it's really relevant to you, but some kind of list of prompts is helpful just to make sure you've really covered all of the different areas that you might have incomplete things in. Some ideas of where to look for incompletes are you want to look in your physical environment. Are there things in places where they don't belong? In this environment, you'll see in a minute, yes, there are a lot of them. And that kind of goes for maybe you've got a handbag that you take out with you and there might be some paperwork crumpled in the bottom and something you need to do something with. So maybe you want to look in there. You want to look around your house. Are there piles of things that have accumulated where they don't belong? Then there's a kind of category of communication, so physical mail, emails, texts, voicemails, phone calls, all those types of things that might need to respond to or you might need to be sending. You might have written down ideas in various places. Maybe you've got notes on your phone. Maybe you've emailed them to yourself. Maybe you've got a Word document or a notebook filled with different creative ideas. You don't want them scattered in all those different places, so gather them all together. You might have various lists of tasks to complete. You might be keeping some of those lists in your head. There might be ideas or goals or longer term things that you've written down or again you're trying to keep in your mind. So as well as kind of searching the physical space and your physical and digital items, you also need to kind of do a mind sweep. What is it that's in there that you're trying to hold on to all the time? And the idea is that that won't be the system moving forward. So you want to get it all out. So where are you going to capture this information? As an ongoing practice, not when you're first setting up the system, you're going to want a place where you can just jot down these things as they come into your head. I have an inbox list in the front of my planner, and if I'm doing something and an idea pops in, I write it down and I know that I can come back and review it later. I also have a notes app on my phone that if for some reason I'm somewhere where I don't have my planner, I will put it there. The best thing is to have as few as possible places to capture that information, because when you come to review it, if you've got it in all these different places, you're going to find that things are getting missed and the system isn't going to really work for you. There's going to be gaps. So try and identify as few places as possible. 1 is preferable, but 2 I'd say probably maximum. And then you've also got to think in terms of your physical items. So say you've got physical mail coming into the home, what are you going to do with that? Do you have a kind of in tray to put it in? But perhaps the ideal would be put it in the in tray, but have your kind of master list of things you need to come back and work through. So jot it on that inbox list. Obviously, I prefer a paper-based system, but there are various apps and digital tools that you can also use to help you. And it's whatever suits you best. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, or things have got a little out of hand and you need to kind of do a little bit of a reboot, this is what I'm going to be doing today. And this is obviously a much bigger job when you're doing things for the first time. When it becomes a regular review and you're just keeping on top of it, the idea then is that it doesn't take you any time at all, really. But this first job is a bit of a bigger job. So this is how I'm going to approach it. The first thing I'm going to do is search around my physical environment for things that just aren't where they belong, or physical things that I know need something doing with them. And I'm going to gather them all in one physical space. If it's too big and I can't possibly put it all in one space, then I'm just going to write a little note to represent what it is. I'm going to put that on the pile. If I know straight away that something is rubbish and I need to throw it away, I'm going to put that in its own pile. But if I'm not sure, I'm going to put it in the in tray and I'm going to come back and make that decision later. Because the idea now is just to be doing the gathering and not to be kind of flitting between gathering and decision making, because it's changing the processes that you're using. Then I'm going to go down that trigger list and I'm going to think of all the things that are incomplete and I'm going to write them all on separate little post-its. Now, you might write them all on a list. What I find when doing a kind of big capture like this, it's really easy when you're making decisions about what to do to have kind of different categories. So these are all the things that need filing. These are all the things that need to be put in my calendar or whatever it is. You can easily take those individual items and separate them into piles, and it just makes it much, much easier. So I'm going to start now rummaging through the madness of my craft room, which isn't too bad, but I know there's a lot of things here that are unfinished and not where they're meant to be, and I'll bring you along and you can see how I'm doing it. So at this point we've got a big old pile of stuff over here that needs sorting through that isn't where it belongs. We've got a bunch of post-its that represent other things that need to be done. And then this is the trigger list I was talking about from David Allen. So the text is super small. I will leave a link to it down below so you can access it. But it provides a list of prompts. One side is personal and one side is professional. And like I said, not all of these are going to apply to me in my life, and the same with you, but it just provides a jumping off point to think about the different areas that you might have missed. So I'm going to just whiz down this list and see if there's anything else that I need to capture. Okay, so this isn't too bad. This is my pile, plus I've got a box down here that I'd already started chucking things into that I knew I needed to decide what to do with, that are physical items. So that's my physical items box. Let's pull it out so we know it's not just going to hide under there forever. We need to do something with that today. And then this is my pile of paperwork, stuff that isn't where it belongs, etc., that needs a decision making on, or it needs to be organised somewhere. Or some of the physical items over here, remnants of craft projects and things. And then this is the mega post-it list that I made with all the other things I felt I needed to get out of my mind. And then in my planner, because I already do getting things done and I'd already started it, I have got a few lists in here that I didn't rewrite the things on post-its because I know these are the lists that I'm going to add to. So I've got one thing on my current projects list, one thing on my Sunday maybe list, so they will grow. And then I've got some lists of kind of project materials in here. So I wasn't going to write all those out again, but that's going to be the base of where I add things to anyway. So they're kind of already captured, and I'll show you how those systems work in future videos. But the next video is going to be all about how I clarify, which is stage 2. So I'm going to go through all of these things and make a decision on them in terms of what type of thing needs to be done with them. So let me know, how big are your piles, how big are your lists? Are you going to join me on Sunday for some sorting through where I will explain the clarify stage and the different decisions you need to make? There's a framework for clarifying, and so I will go through each of those things so that you can start to categorise what types of things need to be done with these items. If you like the video, please like it and consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber already, especially if you want to follow along with this series. And I will see you Sunday for the next video. Bye!